The history of Texas and the history of Masons are tied closely together. When you think of Texas history, you think of people like Davy Crockett, Jim Bowie, Travis, Juan Seguin, Lorenzo de Zavallo, Thomas Rusk, Sam Houston, Stephen F. Austin, on and on. These were all Masons. These were all Masons that came into Texas and helped Texas form or gain her independence from Mexico. The Grand Lodge of Texas was formed in 1837. It was actually a group of Masons that were part of Austin's colony that wanted to have a lodge here. They'd come from different parts of the United States into Texas and wanted to have a lodge. So to have a lodge, they had to petition some other Grand Lodge to get permission to do so. So they petitioned Mexico, the Grand Lodge of Mexico. And it was during that important time in Texas history that Texas and Mexico were at odds. It's before the Revolution, but they were at odds. And they never heard back from the Mexican Lodge. So they decided, because of the political climate, to drop it. Right after Texas started fighting for their independence, another group petitioned the Grand Lodge of Louisiana. They said not Mexico, but Louisiana. And it was granted by a man named Holland, who was a Grand Master in Louisiana at the time. And the petition actually arrived in Texas just in time for the Battle of San Jacinto in the saddlebag of Anson Jones, and was in the saddlebag during the entire battle. So after Texas won her independence, the first lodge was Holland Lodge number 1, chartered named after the Grand Master of Louisiana. That was the first Masonic lodge in Texas. Now, shortly after that, a year in 1837, after Texas had been a republic for about a year, another group of Masons got together, decided to have a Grand Lodge, and the first group to form the first Grand Lodge was presided over by Sam Houston. And then the next year, Anson Jones was elected as the first Grand Master of Texas. Texas education, public education in Texas Masonry in the early days. Most of the Masonic lodges were also used as the first public schools because they were a convenient place to meet. They were set up for meeting, and they weren't being used during normal school days. So Texas Masons are credited with starting the first public schools in Texas, by allowing their lodges to be used as the schoolrooms. Mirabeau B. Lamar came to Texas from Georgia, and he signed up in the Texas Army. He signed up as a private. So he's at Sam Houston's camp just before San Jacinto, and his friend, also from Georgia, Thomas Rusk, and a group of Rusk men were actually trapped behind Mexican lines. So somebody had to go rescue them. So Lamar hops on a horse, and this isn't exactly how it happened, but this is the way I love to tell the story. Hops on a horse, grabs a sword, and with a group of his men, and he charges the Mexican lines. And he charges right through the line. The Mexican line virtually parted, let him come through. They gathered up Rusk's men, and they headed back through. It was such a show of bravery that the Mexican soldiers laid down their arms and cheered for him as he went back through. So he gets back to the Texas line, and Sam Houston hears about what happened. Sam Houston goes up and makes him a major. And he actually led the cavalry charge at the Battle of San Jacinto. And when Lamar was the second president of the Republic of Texas, Lamar is known as the father of education in Texas. He founded many of the first public schools. He set aside money for state universities, and virtually worked very hard to establish public education in the state of Texas. The thing about Texas history and Masonry that has always fascinated me the most was the fact that the heroes of Texas were all Masons. All of the presidents of the Republic of Texas were Masons. Over half of the signers of the Texas Declaration of Independence were Masons. They weren't heroes because they were Masons, but yet they were Masons. The guys like Davy Crockett and Jim Bowie and Sam Houston and Edwin Ward Moore, who was the Commodore of the Texas Navy, and Stephen F. Austin. So when you study Texas history and you hear of the heroes, the founders of Texas, chances are very good they were Masons.